Hey everyone, Mr. Ellison here with Eastside Construction looking at the drill press today. Drill press is used to make very precise holes at very precise depths within our material. And it's very useful because it will keep things completely square at a 90-degree angle for us in this case. We're not going to be cutting many angles. The parts of our drill press, we got a nice new drill press here with a lot of modern features. Of course, as in many things in our shop, we have a table. All right, this is where our material will be placed, all right, nice and flat. We have the fence, again, which is very important for securing our piece. We have a handle here, which is going to adjust the depth of our bit. And on the other side, kind of associated with that handle, we have a depth changer. What's a better name for that?
Depth stop.
Depth stop, yes. All right, so the depth stop, very rarely known as the depth changer,
But sometimes.
is over here.
Occasionally.
And it will basically allow us to control how far into our material we end up drilling, which will become important when we don't want to go all the way through our material and when we don't want to go all the way through our table, which we'll talk about in a second. The other features, we have the on-off switch here on the front for this one, and we have what is called the chuck, which is what holds the bit, right? And the bit is the changeable part that will allow us to drill many different size holes that we like. If you look, we have all sorts of different drill bits. Large drill bits, we have small drill bits, and we can do all sorts of different holes with this particular machine. On the older machines, we also have a chuck, right? And that's what this is here. Did I mention the chuck on the first one?
Not yet.
All right, so we have what's called the chuck, which holds the bit. And on this one, you have to use a special chuck key in order to get the bit out. The more modern machine has a chuck key that you are able to just spin. The bit will be able to come out and you can spin it just like we do with our cordless drills. All right. The chuck key is a little more difficult, and it looks like this strange looking thing. You may have seen this around at some shop. But we take it in and we stick it into the hole, and we are able to turn the key. Now, when we turn it clockwise, we're tightening, and just like anything, when we turn it counterclockwise, we loosen. And as we loosen, that bit is going to be able to come free, and we can change the bit, or we can put it a different bit into the chuck. All right, and again, to tighten it, you do the same general procedure. Clockwise tightens it, go until it's nice and firm, tighten it up. And one thing you never want to do is leave the chuck key in the keyhole. Make sure it comes out, you put it back where it belongs. Those are the parts. The chuck, the handle, the on-off switch for the older machines, and the table. And in this case, this one has a fence, and they all will have some sort of depth stop. Okay? To use this machine, we need to have our material sit flat on our table. We need to secure it in some way. In this machine, we have a fence, and we're able to adjust this fence with clamps on the back. Depending on where we want to make our hole, it also will speed up when we are trying to make multiple holes in a piece of material. But they lock into place just with these clamps in the back, right? What we also want to check, in this case, we're going to drill all the way through this piece of wood. This piece of wood is 3/4 of an inch. We want to check before anything is on. We want to check to see where that bit is going to come. And if you notice on it right now, I'm not going to be drilling all the way through the edge of my board or through the center of my board. So in this case, I do want to drill all the way through. So I'm going to adjust my depth stop. You can see my depth stop is hitting, and that's what's preventing my bit from going all the way down. I can push the button and adjust it up until my bit goes to the depth that I want. Okay? In this case, I'm about there. Now, if you notice here, we do have a little piece of wood here. You can see other people have drilled into it. That's okay. We don't want to destroy this, but this is called a spoil board. It's there to be drilled into a little bit, right, as we go all the way through our material. Right? So once I have set my depth, like come all the way up, I need to secure my wood. Now you can use clamps to secure it to your table. You can secure it firmly against the fence, or maybe on older machines we use a vise of some sort and basically secure by squeezing the piece. Oh, not gonna fit. Squeezing the piece inside the vise, which will stop it from spinning around, which becomes one of the most dangerous parts of these machines. If for some reason the piece of material that you are drilling becomes caught, what it's going to do is it's going to want to helicopter around. And this thing is going to be spinning. It's going to be extremely dangerous at this point if it is not secured properly. In that case, if it is safe to turn it off, you would try to hit this button. If it's not safe, you'll just back up and get the instructor's attention. All right? But this is why it's extremely important for you to secure the board. If it's secure, that's never going to happen to you. All right, so we have our depth set. We have the bit that we want. In this case, it's a 7/8 of an inch bit. And we're going to be going all the way through our board at a precise location that we've marked. Now this particular one does have a light feature, which is always nice. And it has a laser feature as well, which gives me a very precise indication of where I'm going to drill my hole. Right here. Right, older machines probably won't have that. You'll just have to line it up just by the good old-fashioned looking at where the tip of your bit is going to be going. Okay, so I will turn my machine on. And these machines are variable in the speeds of how fast they spin. This one's set at a fairly low speed because it has a little bigger bit in there. Smaller bits will take a little faster speed. Larger bits, like you can see with this large Forstner bit over here, it is going to require a very slow speed in order to work properly and not destroy the bit itself. So I'm going to keep my hand away from my drill bit and where I'm going to drill, all right, a few inches away, and I'm going to use the handle to slowly come into my material. I don't need to go fast, but I don't want to go too slow to start smoking, and I go all the way through. Turn it off, and we have our hole drilled exactly where we want it to drill. What other features do we need to discuss on this one?
What do you do if you have to change the speed?
So in the speeds, so the speeds are important. If you don't think the speed is set for the bit that you are working with, we are going to change the speeds with your instructor's presence, right? So don't want to change these by yourself because you do have to have the machine on. It has to go through a procedure in order to change them. If you need to change the speed, make sure that you have your instructor's help. Other than that, the most dangerous part of this, of course, is when that piece of wood is not secured and it will do a helicopter on you, and it can be very, very dangerous if it hits you at that speed. Also be very aware of how deep you are drilling your holes. Do not be going too far into the material that you don't need to. And if you want to go only partially through your material, you can do that as well, just by simply setting your depth at the exact depth of the hole that you want to drill.
All right.